Hi and welcome, Martina here. Today I'd like to show a technique which I have actually never ever tried before, and you just see me doing my first steps with that technique. Since January is the Everything Wow themed month for us in the Wow team, I thought it would be just a nice idea to let you be a part of my trial and error, since I think it's the same for all of us crafters. We see a technique or we see an effect we'd like to recreate, and we just have to get that stuff and try. And that's why I'm trying today with you. I love foiled effects on cards. And I actually love a bit of a mixed media touch sometimes. And that's why I decided to try the ink pad swiping technique with my clear ultra slow drying embossing pad and the Fab Foil. I have swiped the pad over my piece of cardstock and added the bonding powder on top of the ultra slow drying embossing ink, tapped the excess powder off, and started to melt the bonding powder with my dual speed heat gun. I believe that I have somewhere read or heard that you should not overcook the bonding powder because it should, stay sticky, and I believe that it will lose its stickiness when you overcook it. So I tried to just catch the moment where the bonding powder melted and pressed the Fab Foil really hard on top of my cardstock panel and repeated that steps several times just until I had the feeling that I have melted all the bonding powder I had on the cardstock, and I also just liked the effect I created. I am now looking for some Distress Oxide colors which match nicely to my Fab Foil and embossing powders I'm using on my cards, and I decided to go with Spun Sugar and Speckled Egg. I am using some Alexandra Renke stencils and a blender brush, and I'm simply using the brush to apply the Distress Oxide color through the stencil. Since the stencil is pretty detailed and intricate, I have been using some low tack tape just to make sure that the stencil stays in place and I get some clean and crisp images. I think this is a super quick and easy technique to get just some color and interest onto your background without having too much of an effort. I'm doing this on one card with the Spun Sugar, and as I said, on the other card with another stencil with the Speckled Egg. I will be using the Blush, Fab Foil, and Punch, which is a embossing powder of the Pick Me Up trio, for one card, and together with the Ice Blue, Fab Foil, and the Minty embossing powder, I'm using the Speckled Egg background. And now it's time for the circles. I have been using a Alexandra Renke stitched circle die to die cut some of these circles from my Fab Foiled background, and I've also been using the same dies to just cut some circles from regular white cardstock, which I will be now heat embossing. I have put my cardstock circles into my clear ultra slow drying embossing ink pad to make them sticky for the embossing powder. I have put them into my coffee filter and poured the minty embossing powder just over them and tapped the excess powder off. Took the excess powder back into the embossing powder jar and started to heat set them. And when the whole embossing powder was melted, I am now ready to arrange the card. As always, when I am creating cards like this, I like to start by just getting an idea of the final design I'd like to create on the project. I have arranged my circles and I have browsed my old scrapbook stash for just that one little eye catcher that could be the focal point of my card. And I think that circle with the yay word on it is just the perfect addition to that card. To glue the circles down, I've been using a liquid glue for most of the circles and some foam adhesive for some of the circles, because I always like to add some dimension to the cards, which is just more interesting in my eyes. As a last finishing touch, I am using some sequins of the colors of my card design and just add them to my circles as, so just some nice little details that make the card even more interesting. And that's it for today. On the end of the video, I'll be showing you both of my cards that I created, and I really hope you liked the process. I hope you liked the cards, and I hope you are inspired and encouraged to get creative. Have a nice day. Bye.